That's it. Well, this is a co-presentation with my partner and assistant dean, Dina Shouman, who will have a part in slide 14 or 15 as we move along. I'm going to make it very quick. Now, we are talking here about a student as partners, and I'm circling the word partners, in academics engagement with internationalization of the curriculum. Now, the two interesting words, transformalists and transactionists, and I'm going to use the inductive way. We start from the details, then I have the viewers understand what transformation is and what transaction is of student. Now, as I said, also for our viewers, this is our university, this map of Lebanon. We are in 9 areas, so we cover every bit of land in the country, from the north to the south to the west, and into the sea. So we are 36,000 students, where we have to see internationalization take place. The floor of the webinar will go as the nature of how students can be partners, the framework we're going to look at, a couple of case studies which Dina will present, issues in implementing, challenges, and what kind of action plan we might go through. We've talked a lot of the word inclusion today from many speakers, and I just want us to reiterate the issue of what inclusion is, and I think these are the best 3 diagrams that can say what inclusion is. When we say segregation, then people have we put people on different sides, the teachers here and the students over there, which is like in many cases it's been in the past. If we're going to integrate students into our curriculum, well, that means we're having the policy of the teachers, we have students come into the policy of the teachers the way we want it, not the way they want it as their voice. If we include people, that means we need to listen to their voice to adapt. And when we say adapt, is the accommodation. And my speaker mentioned about accommodation and modification. We need to understand these 3 versions. Now, what exactly you need to know if you want to engage people? The question was, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? No, we should change it now to what could be done for you. This is the new engagement method now. What can we do for you, or could be done for you to meet the market needs? Both of us need to review, both of us need to reflect together, both of us need to imagine, we need to plan together, and as actors, in the end, evaluate. It's the general framework, if you look at it. But how are we going to do this? This is the project. Currently, we work at LIU. There's a strong team between admin, staff, addressed this pressing need. And in the mission, we have something called collaboration and equity and equality. Now, the students need to be always informed what's going on. And this is something I will talk about in slide 3 and 4. And when you say acquire has a lot of meanings in 3 dimensions. It's the actions that you take and what students, the learning phase. If action and learning takes place, then that means we need to have the students acquire. Publications, is it only based on teachers? No, it should be teacher-student publication. And for our viewers, I left them a very nice link where Exeter's framework of reports and publication take place. They could be of handy. And for the success to go on, and this is exactly based on research, and I also included it in my research, we only pay attention to cognitive. We read, exam, study. We never look at their affective and psychomotor. And please, when we look at the affective, there are 3 things we need to look at affective. What are they? They are 1, how much demonstrate awareness those people have, how much attention those people have, and how much awareness demonstration they can. I go straight a framework. If I want to look at this framework, the recommended framework, engagement, and then look at partners. They've talked a lot about diversity, and LIU is one of the most important universities here in Lebanon that talks about diversity. We have the Syrians, we have the Palestinians, we have the Yemenis, and more or less, it's not diversity. Diversity with vulnerability. We need to add that word to it, who are vulnerable. And value, and when we say value, students' contribution, that means we know that students are able to demonstrate. We need to focus on change. I'd already mentioned that in webinar what change is, the mix of the 5 components. And then if we do not have the proper resources with our students, there would be a lot of frustration. So we need to pay attention to this framework. There are 3 frameworks that I am going to put out. The conceptual framework that we came up at university is you need to look at students' experience, how they learn, and how they do research. Now, who does the enhancement is the teachers. This is the bilateral relationship. I've already mentioned this about the experience, but what I'm going to go on straight to go further, every student, every teacher needs to know exactly the direction of the university. Many times I've gone to places and I develop workshops. I take out the mission and I put it on the board at that time when it was face-to-face. And none of the participants of that university or the students could understand it is their mission. No one. This was one major gap, and I used to do it on purpose as my first slide to break the ice, and they were surprised. If we students and teachers do not understand the direction of the university, whatever frameworks, whatever scale up we do, I don't think we'll be able to reach the partnership. Quality and governance. The governance of students is extremely important. I'm not going to go into details into that. And you need to involve our students not only at university level, but at the national level, where they can interact with other universities. Now, here comes a very interesting framework and my final framework on this. I divided this into two parts. Do you want your students only to be informants, or do you want our students to be co-creators? Because if we want them to be informants, that means you are somebody who selects students. You are somebody who rarely includes students. But if we want them to be co-creators, yes, what are you supposed to do? You have to have all students be involved, all. Because if you're informants, you only be selective. So you have to be very careful if a partnership just few or everybody, and here becomes information and co-creators. Now, finalize it, be a co-learner, or co-designer, we call them, or co-developer. You have to see they end up in research. Students must be involved in research at TD or master's level always, at whatever stage. And they can be done at the undergrad level, always from day one. As they come into first university, by the end they graduate, those people have to be as researchers with us. Why? Because if you do this, then your curriculum and pedagogy changes, and even the scholarship changes in university. The scholarship depends on your engagement and the development within the university. How do you do that? We call it the ABCD feedback. There must be a committee who always gives feedback. The feedback must be accurate. The feedback must be balanced. That means balanced to what? How they're involved in the pedagogy, how they're involved in cultural days, and how they're involved in assessment. That's exactly what I mean by balance. Constructive, we said, not subjective. And don't personalize it. This is a very interesting way of engaging students to have feedback, ABCD method. Now, to do that also, what do you think first-year students do? Engage them in surveys. Let them be involved in analyzing. It's not about cultural days and having fun. And always recognize them as experts in the research. And always, we need constant monthly dialogue. Do that, and this is my case study, an authentic case study. Look at it. I did not include pictures, but I included links for everyone who's going to take this presentation, see what we did. For 5 years, we did inter-campus competitions so that those people fly to London. And you can check all the details, how we used to do with the students. They were the committee members. They selected the committee members to do the inter-campus speech competition. We had reading days. Who did the reading days? Students. And this is extremely important. I will ask my co-partner now. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and what happened. The link is there, and the award students got. They felt very proud. Education Day for 5 good years until the pandemic stopped us. Why 17? Because 18 and 19, there were major conferences, which I have them in my next slide. There's a course I urge everyone to go and build, which is called Community Service, Human 200, and I'm ready to share the outcomes and the pedagogy of teaching this course at university. You cannot imagine how people get involved in this course. And finally, community outreach. The 9 campuses, everybody has to be involved in community outreach, which is equal to the SDGs. These are, I don't want to just give pictures, links for you to go and see the approach and data of how we do this over the 5 or 6 years we've done. Finally, before I hand it to Dina, why I said 17, then 18, 19, we switched to conferences, especially in 18 and 19, the links are there. There was the 8th International Conference on Quality Assurance of Universities in the Arab world, as all over the Arab world, who joined LIU. And it was purely student-centered who constructed that conference. And anyone can check the feedback of those attendees. It was everyone with a very beautiful smiling face and passionate heart who developed or who constructed or who maneuvered that particular conference. Now, before I leave, I would like Dina to go back and talk about exactly what Education Day is and these SDGs and how it, before I end it, say yes. What is the transformalist versus the transactionist? Dina? Is Dina here? Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to shed light on a few points that Dr. Anwar started on. I would like to talk about a few points that I've heard today also as well, such as diversity, which is something that Dr. Anwar just mentioned right now, that our students are co-partners with us. We try to integrate them in all the activities that we do regularly. I just want to mention really fast that when we talk about diversity, of course, we talk about different factors such as religion, political orientations, age, race, ethnicity, language, family structure, and so forth. So this was all brought to light when we integrated the SDGs into multiple activities that we had at LIU. One of the activities that I would like to talk about is the autism spectrum, which is held on April 2nd. We had an activity at LIU. First of all, we had an awareness day where our education students went into all the English courses, into all the classrooms at LIU to teach other students about or to raise awareness about autism, which was followed by an activity on campus where we had multiple organizations that came to LIU to raise awareness about autism. So this was part of the SDGs. We had also another activity at LIU, which was about International Women's Day, which is on April 8th. We also did the same thing. We had posters all over the university. When we were on campus, we had multiple speakers to raise awareness about women's rights, women's parts in the community in Lebanon, of course. As Dr. Anwar mentioned previously, we had the IACQA conference. Of course, the speakers, the presentations were by international speakers, but the logistics and a lot of the posters were done by our students, where we tried to engage them in all the activities that we had. Also, I would like to mention Education Day, as Dr. Anwar mentioned. Education Day was a yearly activity that we had for our students. We integrated multiple things or multiple ideas such as service learning. The point of having service learning for our students was to cultivate commitment of our students to be engaged as citizens in society, where they had to go into to help Syrian refugees to learn how to read. They also went into Palestinian camps as well. The service learning project was excellent for our students. Since they will be integrated into the community, they had to be part of that community and they had to help different people within the community. Also, we used to have the speech competition before the COVID-19. Of course, that helped our students as well to boost their confidence, career advancements, personal development. I want to mention something really fast as well, that all the activities that we have big titles such as SDGs, we have titles such as diversity, internationalization, but what do all of these fall into at the end for our students? Of course, they serve our students to have, to be part or to have better skills into the 21st century. And I've heard this from other speakers as well, that we want our students to have interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, such as intellectual openness, work ethics, conscientiousness, positive self-evaluation skills, teamwork, collaboration, leadership skills. All of this falls under a common umbrella. I think that's why we have all of these activities, to integrate all of these skills and to strengthen our students, or have our students have more 21st century skills in these activities, basically.
Thank you, Dina. And to end it up, that's exactly everything that Dina said and I said. They are here in one of the slides called case studies, and the viewers can look at every link for them to look into and check what we're doing. And now to end it, please, ending the case studies, what is it then a transformalist and a transactionist for our students? It all goes back to the curriculum, as we said. And it's very gentle. If you look at the bottom up, if you are going to just exchange information, then that means you are people, we are just people who are doing a transactionist. But the more you enrich, you enhance, you extend, you empower, you move from a transactionist engagement to a transformalist engagement. And at the same time, it goes from bottom up if you want to have success. So when we say knowledge, you're exchanging. When you say comprehension, application, you're enriching. When you're saying analysis, you're enhancing your curricula through these activities within the university. And there's one word: empowerment, empowerment, empowerment. Now, that's why we said we want to leave this till the end. And as such, these are my action plans and my recommended action plans, please. Always have, we created a website. Dina created us with her colleague, with the students, they created us a website. You go into student product. Academic societies, our alumni. Curriculum review and development, we are having this, we have them on the side. Students will be involved as we send them to see exactly the general objectives, and every objective and outcome is on the website. For example, School of Education, for students to give their feedback. Academic advisory group, this is not now, we intend to do it 22-23. Mapping students' involvement, this is powerful for us, and we all have them in the slides. And build support for alumni, you always see it in the link. These are the 6 steps that you build your engagement and to have diversity for vulnerable people always. And finally, this is a very interesting concept framework that summarizes what we did. And I only have to say thank you very much, because we want to close down and give you a quick summary of what we did. Thank you so much.
Thank you.